I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Friday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dissekam for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 100th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday, we covered Genesis chapter 29, verses 1 to 8, discussing Jacob's arrival in a pasture just outside Haran. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/eastendchurchofchrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 29, verse 9, and read through verse 20. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 29, beginning at verse 9. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. Now as soon as Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, Jacob came near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's kinsman, and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. As soon as Laban heard the news about Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Jacob told Laban all these things, and Laban said to him, "Surely you are my bone and my flesh." And he stayed with him a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, "Because you are my kinsman, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. Jacob loved Rachel, and he said, "I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel." Laban said, "It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to any other man. Stay with me." So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of the love he had for her. In this passage, Jacob is at the well talking with the shepherds when Rachel, Laban's daughter, is identified to Jacob, seen coming with her father's sheep. It is told to us that she was a shepherdess, showing us that women did work at that time outside the home, contrary to what many people today accuse the Bible of espousing. It appears, therefore, that Laban's flock is one of the flocks that had rights to the water at this well, and their absence is the reason the other flocks couldn't remove the stone from the well and draw water. When Rachel arrives, Jacob helps remove the stone so that the sheep may be watered. After this, Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. This kiss was a greeting, not a lascivious kiss, and Jacob's tears were obviously that of joy and relief for finally completing his journey and meeting his family. Jacob told Rachel who he was, that he was her cousin, being Rebekah's son. Upon hearing this news, she ran back to tell her father. This scene should remind us of chapter 24, when Rebekah ran home to tell her family when she met Abraham's servant. About 90 years had passed since then, so Laban here would have been quite an older man here than he was in chapter 24, which was part of the reason why Rachel was most likely shepherding the flock instead of him. Laban was obviously excited to meet his sister's children, for his sister had never returned to Haran to visit, but remained with Isaac in Canaan. Jacob told Laban the reason for his visit, to which Laban said that it was obvious that Jacob was his kindred. Laban allowed Jacob to stay with him for an entire month, during which time Jacob seemingly made himself useful. At the end of the month, Laban told Jacob that because he was his relative, he could not allow Jacob to serve him for nothing. He told Jacob to tell him his wage, and he would pay it. Jacob didn't want any money, though. He wanted permission to marry Rachel, the woman that he fell in love with. Rachel was Laban's youngest daughter, a point we'll need to remember for later. Leah, Laban's oldest daughter, is described as having weak eyes, while Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. meaning that Rachel was prettier than her older sister. Jacob told Laban that he would work 7 years for Rachel, so as long as at the end of the 7 years he would get to marry Rachel. The reason that Jacob offered Laban's service is most likely because he didn't have a dowry to give Laban, and therefore his service would serve as a dowry. Laban agreed, saying that it was better to give Rachel to Jacob than to any other man. Jacob therefore served the 7 years for Rachel, but because he loved her, it only seemed like a few days. We'll continue on with this story, the Lord willing, tomorrow. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of the book of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 29, verse 21.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord.